I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Tristan Miller. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
I'm doing pretty all right now that I'm talking to you. Thank you.
Hey, that sounds great. Yeah, I'm doing very well as well. Speaking to you, Tristan. Almost missed you, right?
Yep.
Almost missed you.
Not quite. Yeah. Was in the middle of something dumb, and then I was like, oh no. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
glad.
we're here.
Yeah, I'm glad we're here. So what part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York right now.
Yeah. Explains why you're probably doing something that could have caught your attention.
Yeah.
Tell me, Tristan, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting?
My work as a podcaster, from my understanding, you reached out because of that.
Yeah, I did. I love podcasters. Ooh, yeah, I'm intrigued. Yeah, amazing individuals. I tell you, amazing individuals.
Yeah.
So, okay, tell us about your podcast, please.
Okay, well, I have 3, so I'm a busy beaver, as it were. The main one I do is called Positive and Negative, and it's an hour-long interview podcast where I sit down with artists and talk about mental health and how it affects their craft. And I've had stand-up comedians and actors and musicians on that, and that's been really cool listening to their stories there. I also do a podcast that is a history and comedy podcast called Blank History Month, in which my co-host and I sit down for a month and talk about a period or topic of history for a month. And then the third one is Elevator Pitch, wherein my roommate and creative partner Miles and I get a prompt for that week and improvise a fake movie that is meant to be funny and silly and that sort of thing.
Yeah. You definitely delve into the fun, don't you?
Yeah. Yep. I like having a good time.
Yeah. It's intriguing. So, what inspired you to create these podcasts? 3 of them seem to have like this underlying thread, if you would, of fun.
Yeah. Well, it's just mostly I wasn't getting a lot of work. I started off as an actor, and so I wanted to make something my own, and then also I started with Positive and Negative, and the reason I started that one was because I got my own diagnosis in regards to my mental health, and I wanted to make some positive change in regards to the the stigmatization of mental illness in our society. So I wanted to do that, and then I realized, oh, I can just do podcasts, and they can be fun and not so serious. And because like the conversations about mental health are generally they're pretty fun and funny and lighthearted and stuff, but it's a very serious topic. So I needed an outlet of just like goofing around.
Yeah.
But my roommate and partner Miles, creative partner, um, Miles and I have been looking to do a podcast for a very long time, and we finally found the game that we play in life most is making fake movies, and so we're like, well, why don't we just do this and see if people like listening? And so far, there's a few people that do, and so that was really great.
Yeah, well, that's intriguing. Hey, I like the idea of how things are evolving, and it seems as though it's evolving from something that is stability in the midst of what could seem as instability. Have you seen that occurring?
In what context do you mean specifically?
Yeah, good question. So, you've said that due to your mental health, right?
Yeah.
That you created something.
Yeah.
And now from the creation of this one something is coming so many other things, but it seems as though it's from a strong point in a place that seemed to be an instability.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely agree with that. And it's kind of learning to take what is perceived as generally a weakness and making it your strength and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a big believer in that. You can definitely learn to kind of take things on the chin, as it were, and work. It's kind of just about like hard work and spinning it everything positively, because I think joy is definitely a choice and positivity is a choice, and it's how you approach life. It's not a feeling, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So reframe is the word. You've definitely
Yeah,
reframed it. Yeah, the scenario.
absolutely.
Yeah, love it, love it, love it. So why will you continue?
Oh, well, I think, okay, we're specifically in the time in which we're living currently. I think there's a lot of call for light, silly humor, and because there's a lot of stuff that's hard to deal with. Um, and I think that's the main thing, is putting positive change in the world, whether it's jokes or conversations, and letting people express themselves and giving them a venue in which to do that. And that's why it's trying to instigate positive change.
I love it. Instigate positive change. Love it, love it. So where's the best place for someone to connect with you, Tristan?
On probably the easiest one is my website, which is tristanjmiller.com. That has all my information there, including my email and how to get a hold of me. And then I'm also on the Twitter on Charm Chancer, which is charmed and then Chancer, the way you would expect to spell those things. Yeah.
Well, tell me
Yep.
one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
The last 3 years? Well, I started doing stand-up comedy about 2 or 3 years. Yeah, about 3 years ago, and so I do that pretty regularly. I just did a show last night, and it was a blast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Saw you on your website. Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You did Smeagol pretty amazingly.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been working on that since that movie came out, so we
Yeah.
got a lot of practice on that one.
I was switching between screens, right? So I'm
Yep.
like, I'm switching between screens, and then you'd go into Smeagol. I'm like, okay, let me go back to that screen. So how
Good to
does it?
know.
Yeah, how does it make you feel? How does that make you feel
Yeah,
doing
that make
stand up?
well, when it's good, it's the best, and when it's bad, it's really rough. Kind
Yeah.
of like the rest of life. But like at this point, it's just I'm the thing I've kind of landed on. I'm become more curious on to see how the night's gonna go, rather than wanting it to go well. I'm just like, oh, I want to know what's gonna happen because I don't know really,
Yeah.
and that sort of curiosity is kind of like it makes me really excited because
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
you know.
it's like being in the passenger seat and the driver's seat, right? It's
Yeah,
like
and just switching between the two, and
yeah,
just hoping you're not gonna crash. Yeah.
yeah. That's amazing. Why would you suggest someone do that in their lives? Really give themselves some space to experience life in two places: the passenger seat and the driver's seat.
Yeah, for sure. I really recommend it because stand-up specifically, you really learn to, you know, to learn about yourself and figure out where you're coming from and your point of view on the world, and what's important to you, because that's what you're going to make jokes about. And then also it really gets rid of a lot of fear in regards to public speaking and stuff like that, because if when a stand up goes badly, it makes your guts ache, but like but then the next night when you have another show, you have to get up and do it again, and you realize, oh, that's not the worst thing to happen in the world.
Hmm.
And you can, like, it's just talking, you're just making sound, it's okay. And you kind of just like learn to move on and reframe what happened, like you were saying,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. Yeah.
That's great. Well, amazing audience. We are live with Tristan Miller. Again, you can check him out at tristanjmiller.com. Pretty amazing stuff going on there. I think the website speaks to his personality. Yeah, most definitely. Did you build that or was it built by someone else?
I did build it. Yeah, I used
Yeah,
Wix, and then
yeah,
I just tinkered
definitely.
around with it.
All right, all right. Well, Tristan, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Tristan, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I think my earliest one, oh man, I okay, so this is a fun story. I remember getting out of a bath, and some of my relatives were visiting, but I'd forgotten my towel, and I was like about 3, and so I was running to my room, and I just shouted to everybody, "Don't look at me, I'm naked." And then I ran to my room.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, 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 wow,
Yeah.
wow. So you're about 3. Why do you think this
Yep.
memory is so clear?
Because I made people laugh, and went up to me afterwards and said, do you remember what you did?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Not really. Explain it to me." And then once they told me the story, I was like, oh yeah, no, I do remember that now. Yeah. Yeah.
What can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Sure.
I love the idea of what you've delved into via stand-up comedy and what it surrounds in showing in the terms of showing up in your true self, right? It's like there's the clothes. I have the clothes on and I walk into the room and people, yeah, it's normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when you take the clothes off, it's really some level that creates an opening for laughter, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there's definitely an opening. Yeah. Yep.
Tristan, if we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
My favorite song when I was 12 was probably Another One Bites the Dust by Queen.
Yeah. Like I could see you getting up there, being naked, and the audience saying, yeah, "Oh, another one bites the dust."
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, Tristan, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Sure.
Tristan, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Well, I hope it's everybody at this point. Like I don't have any kids or anything. Well, actually, my sister has a kid, my nephew, and I would really like he picked up jokes and stuff like that because he's kind of twitchy and hyperactive like me, and I think that'd be good.
Sweet. Are you married?
I am not, no.
All right, so you said you do not have children. Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No, I don't think I do.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yeah, definitely.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8? Okay.
Oh, probably yes.
Yeah, it's challenging sometimes to get to the end of that question, but I understand. All right, Tristan, after 1,001 conversations in 3 months in 2016, I came up with a workbook thereafter, the name of it being called Yours, which stands for your own unique real self, just like the you that ran out there, right? Yeah, naked. But the idea is that you answer questions that are self-reflective and hopefully you connect to your own unique real statement, also known as your mission. I'd like to know if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Tristan Miller. What would you say that is?
I would say, and it's our mission statement at my production company, and it's everybody's welcome to laugh.
Love it. Tristan, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Well, I've been sitting on this notion a little bit. I think we're all born with too much love for one person to handle, and we spend the rest of our life trying to find people to give it away to. And so you should just be willing to pass on positivity and love if you can, and have the capacity that day too. And if you don't have the capacity to do that much that day, that's also okay too, because the person you are loving is yourself.
Love it.
So,
Love it. Tristan Miller, TM if you would, trademarked.
Yep. Yes.
Tristan Miller, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.